Well, we're back. So the Nintendo Direct happened, and I figured we could just go through, break it down, talk about it, and while we do that, I'll just play the Direct over top of it. So it might reflect what we're talking about, but might not because I don't feel like jumping around. But Mel, what were your overall thoughts on the Direct?
Looking back, I think I liked it a little bit more than I thought. But sometimes while these things air, a certain flow needs to be had it, or sometimes you kind of see a certain type of game too much. And I think everybody noticed this time around we had a lot of JRPG games with farming in it.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend called it the Farmers Only Direct because of this. I thought that was a little funny joke. I can't take credit for it, but funny. But
Oh, yeah.
looking at the list now, I actually do see a nice number of surprises, and I actually do see a good amount of things I want. Maybe not the same thing as most Nintendo fans, but you know how it is with me usually. So, what about you though?
Yeah.
What's your general thoughts?
My general thoughts were a lot of farming. I think I liked it more in the moment than now that I've thought back to it. I still liked
Oh,
it
okay.
just as much, but not just as much, obviously. But there were a lot of things that they showed that I really liked. And one of them was the game they started off with, which was Fire Emblem Engage.
Mm.
Now, this was one of those things that got leaked before. We talked about this on a previous episode. I almost feel like they showed the male in the game because the female was what got leaked. So they wanted to just only have the male in here. Uh,
I wish that was the reason. I think they still default to the male for this series, which is crazy to me because like if you look at past games, like the only one that kind of was on par, like male versus female for like fan liking was like Awakening, and that's like over a decade old. It seems like they keep trying to shove down the guy, and I don't think this type of design works for him as well as it does for the girl. And I'm
of the
not saying that
hair.
because we saw the girl. Yeah, I'm not saying that because we saw the girl like months ago. It's just I think he has a harder time pulling it off. Honestly, I'm not saying the guys can't. I'm just saying this guy in particular. I don't think he's pulling it off because I know for sure I'm going with the girl. No contest. They both look goofy as heck, but
Uh huh.
I actually kind of like it. They stand out way so much though, and I have seen some comments saying they look like VTubers, which is actually
Yeah, I saw.
it's actually no, it's not like it's like an actual thing because like the person who designed them is a VTube designer, so you know. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's actually kind of cool because like every couple of games they switch like an art style kind of thing just to give it some new life, I guess. And this is the type we have for this particular game.
Yeah. January 20th, 2023, Mel. Um, and then yeah, they showed the male, but then male and the female are right next to each other. And then so they introduced this game, and then they went on to talk about a couple of other games. Well, first they did talk about the Divine Edition. Um, is that anything you're interested in?
For this particular game, no. But I actually don't mind this game's concept as much as most people online. It seems like a lot of people online are not feeling the summoning the old characters with the rings kind of thing, because in this game you're collecting like different rings, and they summon like past Fire Emblem characters. Like we saw like Lyn, Marth, Lucina. I think Aiko's in there as well. So I feel like some people are like thinking like they're relying too much on the older characters, but this game in particular was supposed to be coming out for like the anniversary, and they obviously missed it. So I feel like that was just like a little fun throwback to it. And I think this game in particular looks a lot cleaner than Three Houses. It's gonna be like not as meaty as Three Houses stuff because it's only supposed to be one path. It's very clean. The designs are they're a little different than what we usually get, and I think for some of them you have to wait to grow them because like if you notice like a lot of the girls characters they have like way bigger eyes. I think if you just shrunk them down a little bit they'll look a little bit better. But again, we didn't see too much of this game in particular. You know, we saw like what 3 minutes.
I think
You know, a
so.
nice
Yeah.
little trailer. You know, it looks really smooth. It looks nice. I'm excited for it. I always like Fire Emblem games. You know, so this was one of my games I wanted to definitely see last time when we did like a regular episode. You know, I was so concerned about certain games taking uh, time in this direct. We'll get more to that in a little bit though. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But so they had this Fire Emblem Engage January 20th. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting it. I know you're getting it, right?
Oh yeah.
The next game is a game that we were like, oh, we could play that. That'll be fun to play together. If it's like a shadow drop, but it is not a shadow drop, and that is It Takes Two. It Takes Two is out or coming out what in November, I believe. Um,
November 4th.
yeah, requires 2 players. You can't. It also requires at least 2 Joy-Cons or 2 Pro controllers, whatever you do. But then they did confirm that they have the online game plus the Friends Pass, so you'll
Yes.
be able to get
So
that, and we won't have to both have it.
because we were concerned about that, talking about this last time too, because you know, I could easily see them just like killing that and making us just pay twice, basically.
Yeah,
Because a neat thing about like his games, the guy who makes them,
from
he
Hazelight. Yeah,
actually does like, yeah, he actually does try to get as many people to play him as possible. And he likes a lot of co-op games. So, A Way Out, it's like similar thing too. Like only one person had to buy it, and the other person can play as well. So I'm looking forward to you and me playing this.
yeah.
Um, when that happens, maybe we'll announce a little early time when you can stream it, and that
Oh
should be
yeah,
fun. Just watching us live
yeah.
messing up and stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, we would do great. Great teamwork makes the dream work, as I always say. So, and it does seem based on all of the things in the trailer, it all says like Hazelight, so it makes me think Hazelight is the one handling the port, which would be interesting. Mel, next up, Fatal Frame. This is a game that only came out in Japan, right? And
Yeah.
it's now coming out on pretty much everything. Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, of course. Everyone's favorite, the Lunar Eclipse. Fatal Frame. Nintendo at one point had part of the rights to this, and then I think they sold it back or got rid of it. And yeah, this is you run around taking photos of ghosts to, I believe, do you trap them in the camera with when you
I
take
think
their
you see them
photos?
with the camera. I don't know if you, because I never actually played these. I know it hurts them. I don't know if you actually trap them,
Yeah.
but I know it damages them. So
But yeah,
maybe
that's
maybe,
early
maybe it does both.
early 2023. Mel, we got the first look at the expansion pass for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Jeez Louise. Um,
I know.
Eno, is that her name? Uh,
Yes,
yeah.
she's like this roboticness kind of like
Yeah.
character. So
And
that should be fun to play with. And we actually did kind of see a sneak peek at like the next silhouette of the next one.
yeah.
You know, it wasn't too long. But also in this little update for the expansion pass, we have the of course long awaited swimsuits for costumes for the characters as
Yes.
well.
All of
So
them are getting their swimsuits, which is what
you
we've been
know,
hoping for. And yeah,
I actually haven't beat the game yet, so I might hold off, beat the game so everybody can be in the swimsuits. That'll
that
be fun.
that's true. You want the canon ending to be where they're all wearing swimsuits, Mel. Um,
Yeah, the world's like dying or whatever, and I'm gonna have them in the swimsuits. Because I actually did complete the first game like that. I actually had all the goofy costumes, and I think half of them were at least in the swimsuit one. Because I know I had Shulk in that like camo jacket with
yeah.
like the flippers. He's
Uh-huh.
like in space at the end. It's
Uh-huh.
so goofy. Because whenever like a JRPG has those costumes and like without actually having to buy them, like with actual money,
Uh-huh.
I will use them. It doesn't matter. All my cutscenes look extremely crazy, but I will use it. I'm not using it. So maybe I'll just hold off on that. Uh, you know, completed like that, and
Yeah.
that's like a week before uh Mario plus Rabbids. So that's a nice little time wasted before that comes out.
Mm-hmm. Mel, tell me about Fitness of the North Star, Mel, please.
Okay, this like is the you know oddball of the show. Like, if you gave us a million guesses on what could actually be a game, even with us joking, we would not land on this thing. This is like the ultimate like if someone is like making like a prediction list, or like someone's like, "Oh, I had the inside scoop list," they would not have this game on the list. No way
Yeah,
possible.
nobody would. Yeah.
Nobody would. I did like the demo of the fitness boxing for like the very first one on the Switch.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was okay.
Uh-huh.
But I have Ring Fit. I feel like that's more interesting as a game. But like just having him, is like the main guy, and you see like the enemies and they're doing it too. It's absolutely hilarious. And I might just get it for like novelty's sake when it goes like on a really good sale. Because like, come on, like that should not exist. Who greenlit that? Like who even came up with that?
Yeah.
This is something me and you would joke about,
Oh, yeah.
just
Fitness of the North Star. It's like something you would see on the game instead of Game Informer, it's like the Game Farcer, where they would just like put fake articles in there, and that this would be one of it.
oh my
Fist of the
god.
North Star. Um,
I want to see this on the bestsellers list. I know it's gonna be like number 27, but like I still want to see it on there.
yeah, I think it depends how much it is. So those other games, the fitness games, are probably made by the same studio that is making this game. Um, they
And
were
they just must be like
published.
really big fan or something.
They were published by Nintendo. Now this one's published by uh, Namco, Bandai Namco, I think. You know what this tells me? That they have um, the. I wonder how the rights work. Like if the rights for Fist of the North Star, if it works like movies do. So in movies, if they're not currently working on something, they lose the rights to it. So I wonder if they were like, we need to make something while the other team is making something else. So let's make this. And then this is how stuff like this happens. I wonder if that's
Oh,
what happened, or if they were just like, wouldn't this be a great idea? Like,
because I mean, like the last like Fist of the North Star game I can think of was like a PS3 game, I think. So it's been a while.
yeah,
I
but
think maybe they ported it to this PS4. I'm not
yeah, they did.
positive,
Yeah, it was like
but
a Muso game, like Fist of the North Star
yeah,
Muso.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was pretty much that. But if it did happen like that, I'm glad because I love stuff like this that exist. I may not
yeah,
get them all, but like I really appreciate goofy little things. This
yeah.
is just the fun of video
I
games.
want to find out how it happened. Because so those other games were published by Nintendo, the fitness games, and now this is the
Mm.
Namco game. So, um, then they had like, like SpongeBob in that game Oddballer, which looked like goofy animations mixed with, um, I don't know, it almost looked like, Gang Beasts mixed with, what's the name of that other one? Gang Beasts mixed with like, um, I don't even know. Uh, Moving out, like sort of the
Oh,
animations.
okay, yeah, I can see that. I don't think it's as like goofy as Gang Beasts because Gang
Yeah,
Beasts
no,
has like those physical mechanics. I don't think it's as
they're
goofy as
made.
that.
Yeah,
And
they're like silly putty. They're made out of
yeah,
silly putty and Gang Beasts. But yeah,
this is actually like a Ubisoft game too. So
yeah,
it's nice that they have something else for the Switch that's just not like Mario plus Rabbids and some really janky, I don't know, like Assassin's Creed game or something. they're trying some stuff. I don't know how particularly well this is gonna take off because this was one of those games in Direct where it was just like, okay, this is here. It didn't
Yeah,
really like grab my attention or anything. I don't know about
right.
you, but
I agree. I thought it was odd. Like, it's not like Ubisoft to just make a game like this, unless they're like an indie dev made the game and they're like just publishing it. It's because they saw it and they saw what a big hit like Moving Out and Don't Stop or Under Overcooked were. So they were like, oh, let's get our own game like that. Because otherwise, if Ubisoft was in charge of this the whole time, I feel like these would just be rabbits running around. But
honestly, yeah, I can see that. You know,
But that's what Oddballer or Oddballer, yeah, Oddballers.
I'll I'll lose. Yeah, you
And
have to be.
then next up, they had Tunic, which
That,
I brilliantly predicted. Thank you very much. Uh,
that
no
was like
one,
the only thing we got.
no one saw this coming. So they announced this for the PlayStation back a few months ago, coming out September 27th, I believe. And
Yeah,
then
end of the month.
and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, it's also coming to Switch now." And so you can pre-order it, blah blah blah, $29.99. If you don't want to buy it, you can also go play it on Game Pass if you got
It's
that.
still there. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but
I thought it looked pretty well, you know, from the footage we saw.
yeah,
I don't know if that's like actually Switch footage, but like I'm hoping that is, you know, because this is one of the games I wanted. You know, it's a
it's
classic Zelda game, basically.
yeah. I mean, it looks like the GameCube version to me. It looked, or not the GameCube, the Switch version, because like the Xbox version just looked so much more. I don't know, something about it. You can tell this looks
has
like,
that has that like that lighting pop to it, you know. It's
yeah,
a lot more crisp, you know.
yeah, but it does still looks good on here, I think, on the Switch. And that'll be out at the end of the month. We'll be talking about that later because I'm sure I'll be playing it. Mel, next up, they had new intel on the Front Mission remakes. Mel, I know Front Mission remakes 1 and 2. I know you're a big fan of turn-based RPGs, of not turn-based, but strategy RPGs, Mel. Is
Yeah,
this
I actually did play the first one a while back. I didn't play the second one. And I'm unsure if I'm gonna be able to fit them in this busy schedule for myself. I'm gonna
yeah.
try though.
Yeah.
Because I do like the mechanics of like you know, you can target different parts of your enemy. You know, that kind of stuff is really cool. And
Yeah.
I don't think I had easy access to two because I think that's like one of those games where it was just like Japan only. Maybe three was as well. I'm not super positive, but three's
Yeah.
getting a full blown remake.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
know, they're bringing out the big guns for that.
That's wild that Forever Entertainment's doing that. So they did 1, they did 2. Now, Mel, after one, now they remaking 3, and then Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life is coming as well. This is what
But
a
for those of you who don't know, we're talking about Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, but obviously they can't use the Harvest Moon name anymore. So Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. So same game, different name.
it's very odd the way this is working. I don't know why they showed some of the footage because some they're like panning the camera around and it just looks pretty rough. The frame rate. But yeah, this was the GameCube version, right?
Yeah, GameCube version.
A remake of
Very
the
popular
GameCube.
with Harvest Moon fans.
Yeah, and it was just as sounds, a wonderful like you play through your life, you get old, and then I don't know. Then does your kid? Do you take over as the kid, or is that it? Like the end of the
I think
game?
you take over as the kid because you can have the kids in this game. But they did make some changes to this one. So before it was just like you're locked in. Like if you're like the male, you have to go with like the girls. But this one, it seems like you have a little more options. And I think they even added a non-binary
Option?
character selection. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So like I think you can mix and match more. So I'm not positive if you could do like same sex, but I can't imagine you can't anymore. So I know a lot of people actually like you know playing as a girl, and being with one of the girls, because usually the girls in these games are just more interesting characters. They just ends up happening like that. So, if you're into that kind of stuff, they did make this kind of change. So, but if you want to play like the original way, you can do that as well. So, it's
Yeah.
a nice little option.
And that comes out summer 2023.
Yeah, that was
Um,
like one of the longest launch dates in this direct too. It was actually surprising because usually when they announce these directs, they're like, "Hey, we're focusing on winter," and like this is like, "Oh, summer 2023."
yeah. Yeah, they really did. Um, Mel, after that, they announced, hold your breath, hold. They announced the first Splatoon Splatfest. Now, this is mayhem, Mel. This is mayhem. Some would say anarchy.
Oh, really?
The Splatfest. What on earth are you going to take with you on a deserted island? Are you going to bring gear? Are you going to bring grub? Or are you going to bring the party? And are you going to bring fun? That's the question.
I'm very unsure of these choices because honestly, like none of them are really grabbing to me.
Yeah, that's
I'm
part of the problem.
unsure. Like I'm unsure like where the good players are actually gonna be. So, because I want to win, I want to win the sea snails. At least the first couple of ones when I have just to build up a stash. And
Yeah.
because we don't have any. Nobody has any.
Part of
But
me,
we.
go ahead.
Oh, you can go. You can go.
I was going to say, part of me wants to pick grub since we talk about food a lot on here. And then the other part of me wants to go with fun because I feel like that's going to be the most popular one. Um, Big Man is fun, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's gonna die on that island if he's picking fun. And he's a big man. Like he needs
Yeah,
like
he needs some
food
grub.
and
Yeah.
stuff. You need like I think Gio is gonna be like the least chosen for this, but I
I
think Gio might have the best players.
I,
So that's kind of my logic.
I,
It's like
I feel like Gear is going to be the one that gets picked the least, but I also feel like yeah, here's what happens, Mill. You bring the fun, okay? And
mhm.
while the fun is out there, everyone's having a good time. They don't see you coming up behind them and murdering them and eating them as food. So, that's just what if
Plus,
if I, if I had to guess, that's his big man's logic here.
maybe that is because I'm also thinking of the logic of like Lost. Remember that show
Yeah,
Lost?
I
It was
remember.
like some mystical creature like on one
Yeah.
season. Sorry for spoilers if this is like a 20-year long show, but but like I'm wondering, hey, is that happening on this episode? Is it only us? Like what are like I need more detail with this question. I'm just that type of nerd. I want to examine all my
Options, yeah.
situations before I can guess because like if there is some kind of creature on this island, maybe we should pick you. Or like maybe if we're just gonna die anyway, maybe we should just have good food. How much food are we bringing actually? Is it just like one meal? Is it like a lifetime supply or
Yeah.
something? Like
Yeah, they
are
don't
we
really.
bringing little Debbie cakes? Like what's
It
going
looks
on
like
here?
it. They got candy canes. Um, Fun. I mean, you got cards, books. Um, you got drinks on food. You got a shovel and a light with gear. So don't bring a book and plan on reading it at night unless you bring some gear. That's the real
But
crux of
I
it.
guess book could be fun though. Like books are fun to some people, so that's not a
Some
problem
people
with
it
you.
is, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I like the visual novels, and someone gives me crap for it on this show. You know.
I know it's a shame. I mean, this is what happens when, like, one time we went to record when we didn't end up recording because Cayman was in here giving you a hard time about these dang quesadillas, and then you were like, "Well, I just love graphic novel games," and she's like, "I bet you do," and then next thing you know, we didn't record, because it
Did you
wasn't
just
me.
call them graphic novel
Yeah,
games?
the
You
graphic
just mixed up
novel.
like
The
the
gra-
comic graphics
yeah, the
with the
graphic
visual
novel games.
novels.
You know how it is. You're sitting there reading,
You're a
page to
big fan
page.
of those
Yeah.
graphic novel games, yeah.
Uh huh. Yeah, if they talk to me, I am. If I got to read it, no. Um. So yeah, we're still trying to decide. By next week, we should know which one we're going.
um, yeah, but like again, I told you earlier this oh, last week actually that I might have a problem on the 24th. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able
Oh
to
yeah, that
play
week. Yeah,
this time. Yeah, so because I might be going out of town, that kind of thing. So
going out of town. Mel's gonna be
as
like,
of
I. You're gonna be like my boys and be like, I need you to sign in and play at least 5 matches.
because I want to make it to the top rank, which is ruler. Whatever it is, I mean, I want to win, obviously, but
Yeah,
like, I at least want to make the top rank. I'm gonna try to do it for each session, but like, I may be out of town. I can still bring the system with me. Obviously, it's just like actually having enough time to get to
yeah,
that level,
yeah. You're
and then
gonna,
actually being at the same time to play with you and such.
yeah, you're gonna
So
be
I don't know.
so just out of your mind, being like, I gotta do all, I gotta out here living my life. When I
I
could be
know it
a
sounds like a big thing, but it's
fighting for
gonna bother
grub.
me so
Yeah,
much.
I know, because it's
It's
the
gonna bother.
first one, and
It's
of
the
all
first
times to
one.
have to go out.
Yeah, and I'm very into this game right now. So
Yeah, I know you
very
are.
addicted.
Um,
Cause like before we started, like I actually looked at the shops and we saw like you can actually buy like the sea snails.
yeah.
It costs like 333,000.
Whew. Yeah, that's a lot.
Nobody has that. That's a lot. So
And so then, Mel, a game after that that you were very mad about. Um,
I don't think this is in order actually, because we did have some like bigger announcements I think in between some of these segments. Because
uh,
I can think of one. I can think of one that was kind of early or felt like it was early to me, which is Octopath Traveler 2.
and that is what I was getting into. Yes. Um, I have the video playing right now. You can't see it, but I have it
Oh, okay. You
playing
actually
it.
have it?
Yeah, and I'm going through in order, and I keep like scrubbing back if we keep playing, talking about something, so that we're talking about what we're talking about is on the screen. Yeah, so if they showed the HD 2D game, right, and then we were
Hmm.
like, oh, look at this, it's a new game, and then so it kind of leaked ahead of time on Green Man Gaming, I think,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Because this one's actually coming to PS5 or PS4? One of
PS4.
those?
I think it might be PS5 through backwards compatibility. I don't,
Okay.
or it might be a PS5 version, I believe. Yeah,
But
it's
I
coming to
do know
everything
for
but
certain
Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, no Xbox. Xbox got the first game. Sony gets the second game.
Yeah, and
I
we're
don't know
not
what's
gonna get
going
the.
on with
It's
it.
only coming to PlayStation and Xbox, the third one. Um, but yeah, we got that one. The hunter. She's like the cat girl running around.
Oh yeah,
Um,
nice looking.
I'm
Yeah, like
hope.
the samurai.
Yeah,
Um, you know, a couple. I think this set of characters to me is just more interesting. But I had a very difficult time getting into this game.
the first one. Yeah.
This game. Yeah. So I'm unsure about this one
Well,
still.
if there's one thing you can count on, Square Enix will release a demo and be like, "Go ahead and play it now, and we'll let you know."
I'm actually disappointed they didn't say demo out now for Just Direct because I'm so used to them doing that. Like usually it's like okay because it happened with Triangle Strategy, it happened with this one, but I
uh,
feel like this is like a sequel, so they kind of have it down pat how they think people are gonna want this. So it's like oh yeah, no demo for you not right now because they actually use like the first demo for like feedback and
right, yeah, and they did the same thing with
they
like
actually do listen.
Bravely Default 1 and 2, right?
I think two. I don't remember one, but I think we had something like that for two, and I know we had something like that for Triangle Strategy as well. Because I remember typing in like paragraphs and paragraphs of stuff, and like the thing told me I was like over the count limit, a couple of times. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
Mm.
But this unfortunately it did leak, so that kind of took a little wind out the sails. But this is a popular game on the system. We just got news that it sold over 3 million across everything, which is pretty good for this type of style of game. You know, It's very like old schoolish in a lot of ways. I'm questioning how much they're gonna keep from the first one, and if there are gonna be like any major changes, because it kind of just looks like the same thing, just with like a new set of people. But I do think this set of people look way more interesting.
Right, yeah, so do I. I'm looking forward to that. Um, it's coming
Still
out
undecided,
February 24th,
which
2023.
is a busy day actually, very busy day.
Very busy. What else is coming out that day?
Well, we'll get there in a second.
All right, so next up, Mel, what do they show but Fae Farms? Is that what it is? Fae
Very
Farms
fun.
is the next game. They show it off. It at first I thought it was going to be a Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game. The art, the I don't know why, but I just thought it was. And yeah, Phoenix Labs, Fae Farm. It's 4-player, local and online, and yeah, um,
This is one of the main JRPG kind of games of this direct.
yeah,
This the hook of this one is you get to play with your friends basically. It didn't look too bad honestly. It kind of has like remember that My Sims style
oh yeah,
like in the Wii generation, DS
the
generation. Like that's
Urbans.
what it kind
Well,
of.
is that what it was
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
The
That was like one of them.
yeah, this,
It
yeah,
kind of reminded me of that. So
because they,
it looked cutesy enough.
yeah, you build your house, make your farm. It looks like the players can get kind of far away from each other. So it'll be interesting to see if you'll be able to go, your friends playing a game, and you'll be able to go into the area, or is like the main character everyone's locked into, and then they go from there in terms of distance traveled. Um, but yeah, Fae Farms. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that. Mel, do you?
It's by the Dauntless people. So if you remember, that came out a couple years ago on Switch. That was like that Monster Hunter ish like game.
Yeah,
So unexpected, honestly. I would think they would make this type of game, but like it seems like this type of game is really taken off. You know,
it
so it
really
seems like a
is.
lot of
Yeah,
people are like actually getting into it, and we're just hitting that not plateau, but we're hitting that ground on these games actually coming out. Because I think a couple of these games would have came out sooner, but obviously like COVID restrictions had an impact on this. Because we even got that message for this direct as well.
right. Starting it up, they were like, "Hey, COVID, still a thing." Um, but yeah, available spring 2023. We'll see how it is when it comes out. But Mel, a musical blast from the past. That's right. We got Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. I don't know about you, but I loved Theatrhythm. Theater Rhythm 2, I believe, came out the day my son was born. And or no, the day after my son was born. So I was like in the hospital still, and when my parents came to visit, I had to like mailed to my parents' house so that it would come there and they could bring it to me because I wasn't leaving. So they brought it
Yeah,
to me.
obviously.
I had the stylus and everything, and
This is actually one of my favorite 3DS games. It was like a 3DS line of games, and I actually hate myself because nearly every time there's a direct, me and you say new Theorem Heaven. I'm not Heaven, new Theorem game. Every time we say it. This is
yeah,
the one time we didn't say it and it showed up.
I
I'm
know.
so mad.
Mm,
'Cause we would have had it. Like no one else would have called that because we've been constantly asking for all the rhythm games. I know Heaven's usually popping up. The rhythm usually pops up. Well, the Agents usually pops up for us.
I
We
know.
didn't say it the one time.
I wanted them. Theater Rhythm. I would have loved like Dragon Ball, Theater Rhythm Dragon Ball. That never
Ooh.
came out in America. That would be
I mean
nice.
Dragon Quest,
Or Dragon
not
Quest, yeah.
Dragon Ball. Because I was thinking the Dragon Ball like anime openings. I was like, oh yeah, I'll play those.
Yeah, I'd play that too.
I'll
Um,
play that too. Yeah.
but yeah, so Theater Rhythm comes out there. It's $50. Then there's a $50
Um,
set that has all the songs But I mean, it's like
Like I think it's like
500 and
$70.
500 and some
I think it's 50, 70, 100. I think that's the pricing. Or is it 50, 80, 100? It's like one of those two.
50.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of songs in this one. 4 players can play, and I think online as well too. So
Yep. You can play online.
maybe maybe we can get something going on with that. Because again, I do really like these games. I don't know if I would go for like the big mega edition, but it
You're
seems
going
like
for
we're
the
going to be
big.
getting a nice amount of DLC packs, and it's going to be spanning across a bunch. Well, not a bunch, a few different Square Enix games. Because Square Enix, if you look at their output for like the next like 6 to 7, 8 months, it's insane. They have like 15 games they have to shoot out there, and like this is one of them. So February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day, a nice little
Yeah.
belated Valentine's celebration, I guess, if you really like Final Fantasy and rhythm games. If you just like rhythm games in general, I like them.
Um.
One of my games to show.
One of your games of the show. Oh.
One of my
Well,
games.
what about the next one, which was another look at Mario plus Rabbids?
Oh, we actually had a little bit more information over the weekend. Ubisoft was nice to have a conference on my birthday, and obviously this was the only thing I cared about from their stuff. I'm
This
not
and
gonna
Just
even
Dance. Yeah.
pretend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got a little boss fight we saw with the Wiggler and like the train. But like the biggest news of the conference for that was this game's gonna have like several DLC story expansions, and like the first one's gonna be Rayman. A lot of people have been asking for Rayman. I personally asked for him myself. You know, uh, this is my big next game. There's some changes they did with the gameplay that actually looks pretty neat because you have like the little star companions. They all have different powers. They all do different stuff, and they changed the grid. It's not like a complete like chessboard kind of grid. It kind of reminds me of like Valkyrie Chronicles, where it's an area of movement where you can go and such. Not like the biggest change in the world. It's kind of more of aesthetic change, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it has all the good gravy stuff of the first one. Just this looks a little bit more refined. You have Bowser. Now we're getting Rayman for the story stuff. This is probably gonna be one of my favorite games of the year. I really love the first one, and this looks more of the same with some new stuff added to it. Not the biggest complaint for myself because again, I really like the first one. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Really like the first one. I never got around to playing Donkey Kong, and I want to go back and do it. But my save wasn't there, so I would have to start
Mm,
over. And I don't want to start. I might wait until I play this, so I'm not playing this and then, or I don't want to play all of the first one right before the
that's
second
just
one's
so
about to come out.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play some of that, and then yeah, I'm also looking forward to the Rayman. My really wanted Rayman to come to Smash Brothers, and he didn't. So the fact that he's in this, Dash is very excited.
Yeah, big Rayman fan as well.
Big Rayman fan.
Very
He
nice.
he likes the way he looks, his aesthetics.
I mean, he's very unique. Like
Mhm.
the legless, armless guy. Just
And
I don't even know what to call Rayman. He's just like
yeah, he's
he's not like
Rayman.
human, but
Yeah.
like he's just Rayman.
One of the first games he played and played it a lot was Rayman Origins, maybe whichever one came out first. It was on the Wii U. He was like played that nonstop,
Yeah.
and he
For a second, I thought you were gonna say Rayman 2, because like every system has like Rayman 2, but
oh
like the
no,
Switch now, we don't have Rayman. Can
yeah,
we even call it a system if it doesn't have Rayman
all
2?
right, yeah, exactly. Can we ever? Um, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to that October 20th. Next up they got um Rune Factory 3 Special, so that comes out at the um when does
It's
that?
just 2023. Like we don't have like a solid release
Yeah,
for that.
and they were like,
But they
oh
didn't announce 6 is coming, or the
yeah,
next
the
one
next
in
game,
line.
who
My bad.
knows what it is? Yeah, And they must be like, oh, this is great. We're already here. Everyone loves these type of games. We're just gonna keep going with them. And I guess we'll
I mean,
see.
I know 5 had some issues even after the wait. So maybe they went back with 3 cuz I know 3 was liked as well. Cuz like 3 and 4,
Yeah.
that's probably like their heyday. So maybe they gave out 3 just to kind of like guys like whoopsies, sorry, you can play this game that's actually playable, Hopefully the next one would just be, that elevation people wanted because 3 and 4 look like exactly, no, not exactly, but close enough to the original style of games. Because 4 still kind of looks like 3DSs, and 3 is kind of like no, 4 looks like 3DSs, and like 3 I think is DS. Is it
Yeah.
the DS game?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna obviously see that they don't have like enough budget, I guess, to really crank that up. But you still get like the nice fun game. So while you wait for the the next one in line. I'm not the biggest fan of Ring Factory myself, but I get the appeal. I get why people would like this, and this was one of those games that really did kick off this JRPG farming style of stuff we have now. One of those games.
Let's see. Next up, we got N64 NSO. No Game Boy. They announced
No
N60,
Game Boy.
and that's the N64 games. The problem I have with this, well, what do you think of it so far? Of what they announced for the N64
Okay,
games?
you know me. I'm not the biggest fan of replaying stuff I already have.
Yeah.
And especially if they didn't like do anything to them. Like these N64 games, they're gonna play probably like the N64 games. We might even have new problems the N64 games didn't necessarily have.
No, yeah.
Like okay, like look at this list. We have Pilot Wings 64, which is actually pretty nice because Pilot Wings 64 hasn't really been available in any kind of way. But
Right.
then, as you continue along this list, we have Mario Party, Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3. Now, those are my favorite Mario parties. I played those a bunch. A lot of those mini games are in Superstars, and I bought that, and I can play that like online with people. I mean, it's just you missing like the maps, I guess, and some of the items in this game. But like, am I gonna actually go back to this like more than once for some of these games? I doubt it. And it's separate too. You notice that, right? Like that's gonna take up like a month probably. Just like that's the game of the month. It's like Mario Party. Then
Oh
we have to
yeah.
wait for like 2 and like 3. That's a lot of Mario Party back to back. Then we have Pokemon Stadium 2. Very hype games, but like you can't transfer the Pokemon in those games, so you have to use like whatever the Pokemon's already in those
The
games.
rental
So
ones,
that's a
yeah.
little bit of downer. Yeah, it's a downer.
Uh,
And 1080, Excite Bike.
heck yeah.
Those are solid games. I like 1080, so I might dibble dabble with that. And
Mm.
then of course
They
the big
ended it.
announcement.
Yeah. They ended with GoldenEye, right?
Yep.
And
Golden
Mel, we know how much you love first-person games.
Even as a kid, this one did not go well with me. I remember having like I think it was like my 11th or 10th birthday. You know, uh, One of my friends brought over like Golden Knights, to play, and I remember playing it, and I was like, you know what? It's time to cut the cake.
Uh,
We're ending this little
uh,
early.
everyone's like, "What? This game's amazing," and you're like, "Nope, nope."
Hey! They went back to it after cake. I was just not having it.
Yeah,
I let them play. I was not into it. I understand why now. It's just it wasn't apparent to me then. But
yeah.
yeah. But I know a lot of people have been waiting for this announcement, and you can play this online, but it's only for the NSO expansion pack people. That it's locked to that.
Right, because
So
it's
you
also
gotta have
coming
it.
to Game Pass, but it is coming to Game Pass through Rare Replay. And Rare Replay, they had the Xbox version of Rayman, not Rayman, Conquer, and that didn't have online. They all the games that had online, they got rid of it.
Yeah. So
So
that's
yeah,
nice. It's happening as well. It's just
and now this has online, but it's still played through the NSO. So you're going to have I wonder, like, because in the trailer when they showed it off, they only
Mhm.
showed off the NSO version. I wonder if like that's all they can show off. Because everyone at first, I went back watched some of the like the reactions, and people thought it was like a Metroid thing
Yeah, because it has that little
because
icon in the
Samus's
corner.
icon in the corner,
Because
and
we actually watched it together, and I
yeah,
said that too. I was like, "Oh, this is like the Metroid Prime section," but that doesn't make sense because it wouldn't be a part of the NSL unless we're getting GameCube games. But we didn't even get Game Boy games. We were so certain we were getting Game Boy. I was looking forward. Well, I mean, I wasn't looking forward to Game. I was looking forward to Game Boy Advance. But like,
right, yeah,
just having the Game Boy announced and out, I was like, okay, Game Boy Advance is gonna come next. But
right,
we didn't even
yeah.
get those.
I mean,
It's just
yeah,
N64.
and we're in September, right? And
Yeah.
so we still need a game for September. We still need a game for September, and then so we got what? September, October, November, December. We got 4 months left. And in those 4 months, two of those games, half of them are Mario Party games. We're going to get Mario Party 1 and 2 before the end of the year,
Mm.
and we're getting Pilot Wings, and then we're also getting GoldenEye, which says they're coming soon. So if we got 4 months left in the year, and only 3 of them are listed, we're getting GoldenEye at some point this year. I just don't know when. And yeah, we're gonna get GoldenEye, we're gonna get Pilot Wings, we're gonna get Mario
Mario
Party
Parties.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
and then if because it's funny, at first I thought it was Mario Party 3, but it is Mario Party, and Mario is punching a block that has the number 3 on it. So
Oh, that's very
yeah,
confusing.
so you're getting Mario Party, Mario Party 2, and I hope they're not coming out in the order they're listed in, because if it is in the order they're listed in, then we're gonna get Mario Party, or we'll get maybe GoldenEye, right? And then
Mm.
in sometime this month, and then Pilot Wings in October. Then November, December is Mario Party 1 and 2, and then January would be um, Mario Party 3. I
I
hope they
know that's a
mix it
lot
up.
of Mario Party.
I hope Mario
That's too
Party's
much.
October, then we get Pilot Wings, then Mario Party 2, then something else, whether it's Pokemon or 1080, and then uh
I
yeah.
mean, that's what I would realistically do because I wouldn't want somebody to be oversaturated with Mario Party back to back to back. But I mean, the Mario Parties honestly have the best chance of coming out at November and December just for those holiday months.
Yeah.
You have your families around, you want to play some old Mario Party. I can see that happening. I'm not the most excited for that because again, like I have superstars. I feel like for me that's good enough. I do miss some of the boards and some of the items in like Mario Party 2 and 3 for myself because Mario Party 2 is my favorite. I want the Western land. That's all I wanted. Because this to me just tells me we're not getting any kind of DLC for Superstars, and that's what I wanted. I
Right.
wanted some of those maps and items to be brought over there. Maybe some more mini games as well. It's just no,
Well,
they really want me to go back to this and play, which I'm not like complaining. It's just I have a hard time going back to stuff that I played a bunch of. If I didn't play like a bunch of that, I'd be more excited. But I have, so
mhm.
just like yeah.
And I'm not that excited about the fact that we're only getting one N64 game a month, and for a little bit there they were giving us these random uh SNES and Genesis games, but uh, I did they even do that last month, or has it been since July that we didn't get anything?
It's been a while since
Yeah. And then N64 games are like once a month. It's like I I I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they could do whatever they want, but I don't feel I'm starting to feel like, the price that we're paying to just get 3 Mario Party games for quarter of the, time or
the
whatever.
year, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, the reason that those are more enjoyable are because of um the the fact that they actually like haven't been on pretty much anything else, right? We
Yeah,
haven't.
we haven't really seen those.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we don't get new stadium games either. So it's not like
yeah,
if we got like actually new stadium games, I would have the same complaint to be honest. But we don't. So
uh-huh,
it baffles me because like the last one we had like a stadium game for was like Generation 4. It's like like 15 years ago this week because
right.
each gen's like 3 or 4 years. So that's crazy.
I still think there could be a chance we get Game Boy, and there will be a um Pokemon game released. Be only because Pokemon Stadium, they're showing it with the transfer pack on the cover. Like Nintendo would probably just edit that out if they didn't want us to see it. But they have it
I
there.
would hope so because
Yeah,
again, they have that fine print that says you can't transfer any games. I mean, any Pokemon yet. But like, maybe that's just like a waiting thing. Maybe when they announce this happening, maybe we will just have some Game Boy secret announcement. But that just seems crazy to me because I feel like it would have been in this direct, unless Game Boy is just that fall off and Pokemon's like one of the last games from this set to release, which could happen.
yeah. I could see them also announcing, "Hey, Game Boy is coming, but it's coming." So see, this game here is GoldenEye. I imagine they'll be like, "Oh, guess what? GoldenEye is coming out." And it'll be out like the day after most people have to renew, so they do that to just get people in the mix.
That's exactly what I was doing. Because
uh,
you and I both know how big GoldenEye multiplayer was back in the day. A
right.
lot of people have been asking for this. So it's not like a random, like, throw at the wall, as
Hmm.
we usually get for some of these games.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, they got a couple of random games, including Various Day Life, a wonderful game that is just you living your life. You're doing work, you're trying to talk to all these different people in town. You're basically running around. It's like a life sim, but mainly doing a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking, there's a lot of walking. You do eventually get to go out and like do battles and stuff, but yeah, this was originally on Apple Arcade and it's out now on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's also on Steam, but yeah, that's
He
it for
also
now.
made a video of it, and
That's
and
right.
if you can't tell by the title, this is a Square Enix game for some reason. If
Yeah,
you couldn't tell,
and it same font and everything as Octopath Traveler, just Various Day
and
Life.
Triangle Strategy.
Um, it's
That's all they have the budget for.
I almost
They
feel
can't
like
use any font.
these like random titles that they have, right, for their games is a part of them being like, well, we also had random titles for Final Fantasy, and now look at it. So if we pick two different words, Various Day Life, like that.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They never have to worry about these names being registered anywhere. I think that's their main objective. It's like we have to pick something that's not been used before. And
Yeah,
the combinations they come up with are crazy, but more than half the time I actually do remember their names. So it's obviously working for them
yeah.
in some goofy way.
Hmm. Triangle Strategy, um Various
You know
Day
what?
Life.
I'm actually disappointed we didn't have Project Octopath 2. Because usually that's how
Oh
they
yeah,
announce things. They just drop the project. It's like,
yeah. And then
this time it's like we know it's Octopath 2. You don't even worry.
right.
Not even wasting your
And
time.
I went through and watched a bunch of the reactions, and yeah, I, I thought more people knew about Various Day Life, and I thought more people knew about it through game
Mm-mm.
Apple Arcade. I didn't know. I learned quickly that most people did not know this was already a game, and they were like, "How did they release this game? Like, don't they have enough games already releasing?" Which they do, but they also decided to go ahead and just release this game onto the
Switch as well.
Switch. Yeah, and so very stay life.
I will give Square Enix credit because I remember in the early years of the Switch, we had a lot of third parties that were just ignoring the system. Square Enix is actually coming out with games. It may not be like their triple A stuff, but like their double
Yeah,
A and like those middle types of games. I'm not saying middle as in like bad, just like budget wise. It's actually finding like really good success on this system, and I'm glad for it too. Because again, Octopath, passed 3 million. We saw Live Alive is like at what 1.5 million or something to like
yeah,
that
something like
effect,
that. Yeah,
or close to a million. I really love that game. I'm hoping maybe I can get back into two. I saw this Various Daylight when it first came out. I'm just not into it. But I'm glad like this is actually on the system, so people who actually didn't know of it and would actually buy it. That's a thing. It's kind of reminds me of those voice of card games as well. It's like that same type of feel to it. It's like you can produce it fast enough, but it's still enough quality so you don't feel like off or anything.
exactly. Yeah.
They're
Um,
coming out with games.
hey,
They've been busy.
they have been busy. Factorio is coming out next. We'll announce next, and that is a kind of like a top-down builder game where you're running around and building stuff in the town. You're working through making a factory, um, and this is a game that's been out for a while on PC. There's even a Mac version. I was thinking about
Ooh.
getting it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get this, but it's like, oh no, you know what? I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check it on Switch, or when I get that Steam Deck, maybe I'll check this out on Steam Deck. We'll see. We'll see how it performs on the Switch. I'm gonna put in a request for it, and we'll go from there. Ib, what about Ib, Mel? Ib, are you?
I don't know too much about IB to make like a concrete opinion on it because we did see this is probably like one of the few games in the show that just got like a very quick mention. I don't know, and I know it's some kind of like spooky indie game.
Yeah,
It's very story focused, but I don't really know enough to say much.
yeah,
You know?
same.
I'm gonna go out of my way to look more information about this, but like as of now, not really feeling it. But like again, we didn't really see much of it. I
Yeah,
did think it was an interesting choice to have in Direct because it's like probably like the game that kind of stands out the most because it's just the art style is like very like pixelated and stuff. It's there's a time of where like a lot of these indie games, which is like a lot of pixelation, that type of thing.
yeah,
And we haven't really seen too many of those unless it's like an indie focused show in that kind of style in a while for like one of these bigger shows. So I thought that was interesting because usually when they try to get an indie game now, it's like they're trying to be like more 3D or shell shaded or very like artistic in the style of like hand drawn or it looks like it's painted, that kind of thing. So going back to like this pixelation kind of stuff, interesting choice. I have to look more up on it though. I don't know really much about it.
yeah. I agree. Uh, I'm I'm gonna look into it. I think it's already out on PC, so I'll check that out and see what the reviews are like before I consider diving into this. But yeah, the next thing, Mel, is they went ahead and they were like, "Hey, y'all like that Strikers? No? Okay, well, we're not going to address any issues. We're just going to talk about how there's a new update coming, and there's the second free update, and it's going to be coming with Paulina's here. Okay, Paulina is right here. Next thing you know, they also added Diddy Kong. So Diddy Kong and Paulina are coming to this one, plus a new level,
And some
plus
more gear.
some more barrel gear. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
very like that's obviously made for like Diddy Kong in mind. It's
yeah.
goofy enough looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually very excited that Pauline is actually added to this because she's been my like newer. She's like one of my newer requests to be added as a
Uh,
friend, I guess.
character. Yeah.
character like in these spin-off types games. Like I want to see her like in the future Mario parties and future Mario sports games. Maybe we
Mario
have
Kart.
like an Mario Kart, yeah, obviously, and like if we have any type of new adventure or RPG, maybe she'll show up in those two as well.
Uh,
Because before Odyssey, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care about Pauline. But they made her the mayor. They gave her a hat. They made her sing. Now I love her. Like I want her in everything. So
yeah, and it's her special move is hits it with she hits the ball with a microphone. So
yeah, I mean
they're
that's
keeping her
always fun.
canon, yeah, canon singer.
Yes, it
Then
is.
after Strikers, they went on and they showed off your game. What is it? Alistair 3
A to you.
A
I think that's
Terrier?
how you. But most people are just gonna call this series Gryzo right now because that is the current trilogy for this game line.
Oh,
So
Rise
Rise
of
is
3.
back in
Yeah.
this one. Rise of Three. The Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key. They always have some of the most longest names for these games. Like I think this is actually like one of the shorter ones for her trilogy, but she's back again. We see some of the old cast. We see some new old cast. They look like they're playable. I don't want to spoil too
Mm.
many possible characters, but they did show off a little bit more at one of the opening days of Tokyo Game Show for this. So I'm actually a big fan of the Ryza games. This one looks like it has a seamless world, so like the world's all connected. You don't have like a lot of uh, cuts in waiting times just to go into like the next part. This is supposed to have 11 playable characters. There's something with a key that the new mechanic. Don't
Oh,
really
yeah,
get
there's
it.
keys that give you powers, it seems like. Yeah.
It seems like I'm sure you can make the keys with alchemy because that's her thing. And we saw like some zip lining stuff. She like rode like some kind of lion dog thing, and it went up like a mountain, and then like she was like not skiing. What is it called? Like when you like slide down like a slope. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
like doing kind of stuff like that. It looked a lot cleaner than like the last two. It looks bigger, but unfortunately, this is gonna be like the last one for her trilogy because they usually do trilogies for these characters, and I actually really like these characters, so I'm excited, but like I'm sad because this is gonna be it. I'm not sure if I'm an Atilio fan or if I'm just a Glyza fan, so I'm gonna have to see
Mm.
like the next brand new thing that comes out.
Only time will tell,
Because
Mel.
only time will tell. And this is also February 24th, so that's the same day as Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, so we see where your
That's not the
loyalties
only
lie.
one though.
Yeah.
There's something else.
Um, that's true. They also released two of the courses for the next booster course pass, which is some new course from um Mary Mountain from Tour, and then there was one more from what was the other one from? Was it DS?
DS, yeah. Peach Gardens,
Yeah,
DS.
Peach Gardens, yeah. And so they announced those two, more to come. They just said this holiday, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's probably not like
Yeah, probably
it's not
November.
soon enough, but yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the Mario Kart stages, I mean tracks. I'm not super excited. I'm gonna play them. It's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll play it eventually. I'm not like counting down like the minutes or anything. I'm
right.
also not like, I mean, there's like maybe like one or two tracks I actually want to see. But like when those pop up, I'm probably get excited. For now, I'm just fine.
Exactly.
Like I'm waiting for the Dino track from the GameCube, and I think Daisy ship. I like the ship level.
Okay, yeah, I
Uh,
like that chip level. Yeah.
yeah, so those are
Um,
the ones I want.
and then Nintendo Switch Sports. That the golf is still coming, but it's going to be coming fall now instead of summer. So expect it sometime in by by the end of October, I guess, right?
I know you were disappointed when we were watching this. You're like, really? This is delayed. The golf,
Yeah,
you know.
I did like the fact that they have like the 8-player golf, almost like bowling, where it's like you're
Yeah,
just golfing and going that way. I am. Oh no, the holiday 2022. So they said it'll be out sooner. It's not. It still seems to just be golf though. So,
Oh,
um,
okay. So okay, we got a little flipped around, but that's not too bad.
yeah.
Not too bad.
Um, and then Miyamoto comes on, and he talks, and he talks.
I was concerned. I was concerned when I saw him because I thought we were gonna see Chris Pratt, and I did not want to see Chris Pratt because I don't want to see this Mario movie. And I
Uh,
don't want to see a trailer. I don't want to see anything because I am not. I have no faith in this movie.
it's coming
I
out
just
this
don't.
spring, Mel. It's coming out in the spring. We can go.
So nothing yet.
Yeah,
He told us.
we're gonna do a little meetup at the movie theater and go see it.
Oh gosh. And I'll fall asleep instantly.
Yeah. But just like a lot of people fell asleep while Miyamoto was talking about Pikmin Bloom, um,
Oh my gosh.
he was talking about it. I loaded up Pikmin Bloom. Went for a walk this
Of course you
morning,
did.
loaded it up. I guess they got some thing going where they gave me a gold plant. I just got it, or I just saw it right before we started recording, so I might go and do another walk because it's like 100 steps. So I'll just walk back and forth from here to the kitchen a couple times. But the everyone was like, "Oh, he's coming here just to talk about this," and then he's like, "Nah, bro, I got you," and he announced Pikmin 4. Um,
Okay.
with a bit of a
So
teaser trailer. What'd you think of
yeah, it
this?
was a teaser. I had some problems with this, and
Okay.
this is not because I'm not the Pikmin person, because
You hate
this is
Pikmin.
probably like
Yeah. Get it out there. You hate it. You hate it with.
I hate playing Pikmin. I don't hate the concept of Pikmin itself. It's just like out of like us type of nerds, we have certain series that we generally like and we want to see, and usually as a community, Pikmin is one of those. But like not for myself. Pikmin, Metroid, and F Zero are probably like the three major ones I just don't care about that the community at large, our community, our type of community actually cares about. But that's not the problem I had with this. The problem I had with this is like they didn't show us any gameplay. They just said this thing existed. And they did mention some type of new gameplay mechanic to make it easier for people who are just not into Pikmin to actually play this. But I need to see like a visual aid of this. Like I can't just have him tell me this and he spent like 3 minutes on Pikmin Bloom. Like that was unnecessary for this. He did show off his cool little shirt at the end
He
though.
showed off
Like
the
that's
cool
cute.
shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
just wish that I had like a little play button and they showed me like a gameplay trailer or something, because we got like 2.5 seconds of like a screenshot,
Yeah.
kind of basically. I
Yep.
mean, it looked pretty. You see Brittany at the like at the bottom with the Pikmin surrounded in it. It's just I just want to see an emotion.
Uh huh.
Even if I'm not like a Pikmin fan. But I know this made a lot of my friends happy, so good for them. But this is not on my list of to even play or be interested in as of now.
2023.
In the
We'll see what
future.
happens. Yeah. Um. They got that coming out. We'll probably hear more about it. If I had to guess, in like the
This
January or February direct.
Yeah, this has to be like a blowout for that game because I can't see this being like an October game. This has to be like at least summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just Dance 2023. Um, that's great for Just Dance fans. You want to get it? Get it. Go ahead. Be my guest.
It's not gonna be on the Wii though, so
Not gonna be on the Wii. Yeah.
not it's like the first one.
Yeah.
So
Those retirement homes are gonna have to update. We got Harvestella. They showed off another trailer and released the demo. Um, yet another farming game, but this farming game here was ahead of the curve. They've been there from the jump. The demo lets you play 15 days. Uh, the they
man, you have some Rune Factory and Harvest Moon fans typing up a storm. Wait a minute.
have been here from the jump. Unlike Rune
Our
Factory,
current
just
story
getting on
season
it.
6.
Yeah. Um, and so you go around doing. You get party members to join you. You run around. You're trying to take down enemies, get resources. There is a lot of talking, and the talking is very slow. You can't skip over the talking. There's no real way to like dodge attacks late, like from what I can see yet. I haven't unlocked the ability. You can start unlocking stuff. I haven't gotten that yet. But yeah, the demo will transfer over to the full game. So there is that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Mel, they showed Bayonetta 3.
Okay, that's one of my games.
One of your
That's
games. Let's hear it. Are
one of
you
my
looking
games.
forward to it?
Okay, so when we first saw it, what it was like last year actually, we saw it like last September.
Yeah.
They showed off like the demon summon fighting kind of thing. I had some concerns about how this was gonna play in motion. And I still do, just less of them because they actually uploaded a video, like a 7-8 minute video on their YouTube page. It shows off some fighting mechanics and you still have like the witch time dodge, but like certain weapons now you can have like a certain demon, combined, it's like attached to it. So you summon that, use that weapon, you can use that particular demon, and you can actually kind of send out demons to like block some of the enemy attacks, and then you can just use that, and you can switch back to Bayonetta pretty fast. Do all the cool fast paced moves, and you can incorporate your big giant monster demon thing into it as well. So there's a nice little variation of different kind of combos we can have in this one. And they also showed off Viola. She plays a little differently. So she can dodge, but she dodges by blocking. And when she summons her demon, it's like that toy cat, and it acts a little differently as well. Looks pretty fun. There's actually some previews went up of the game today. It's like the first 15 minutes, so I don't really spoil too much.
Yeah.
The general consensus seems to be it's fun, but it's on the Switch.
It seems to be
So keep
more
that in mind.
Bayonetta.
Yeah, it seems to be
Um.
more big.
And then Mel, after that, they were like, okay, yep. And they also released, if you're interested in checking out more, there's like a 7-minute gameplay video um, that you could check out on your own.
And
A dark fa-
honestly, I felt like that should have been in the direct, but we had to waste 3 minutes of him talking about Pikmin Blue.
Well,
But whatever. I'm
people
just
want to
slightly
know.
jaded.
Okay.
That's like a year-old mobile game. This game's not out yet because again, go watch that video. It has some really cool stuff in it. It should have been in direct.
You need to
Just saying.
listen. They couldn't put it in there. People needed to know. They need to walk. A dark fantasy mystery abounds. Rain
Mm.
Code. They showed off Rain Code, Mel. Are you excited? Are you not excited? I know this is more of a my game compared to a you game, but
Yeah, clearly.
yeah, this
The
is
detective
a
reading game is
detective
clearly your
reading
game.
game. My
From
jam.
the Danganronpa people that you still
Yeah.
didn't finish even the first case, which I
Hopefully,
said so.
hopefully they have voice acting
And you
because
started that in January this year.
yeah,
You're like, at the end of January, this game's gonna be beaten.
yeah. At the end of January, I didn't say what year. January 2024, I'm gonna finish it.
Okay,
But yeah, Rain
so
Code, Master
this game,
Detective. Yeah.
so they pretty much like after Danganronpa like V3, not VR, V3. They announced like they were working on some types of different projects, and this was one of the ones they talked about. And I honestly forgot about it because it's been like 3 or 4 years since I last thought about it. But in this game, you're basically playing like as a newly kind of detective, and you're going around like just searching for stuff. But it has that Danganronpa feel. Like you look at the main characters, it looks just like different versions of like Danganronpa characters. Um, it's gonna be a little spooky. You have like this ghost companion, which of course turns into like this very um mature looking lady, that type of thing. So there's little some fun, goofy mechanics that go between against them. You'll be searching for clues, unlocking, mysteries. There's gonna be certain paths you have to choose. Like there's like a little part in like the trailer. They're like in a mine cart. There's like 3 sections you have to choose from, and it seems to be some type of enemy encounter kind of thing you have to do. But this is going to be mostly focusing on like the detective side of things. So
Uh-huh.
I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be probably the same kind of style, just maybe with less killing. But who knows? Maybe this has more killing since you're a detective. And you have to search detective stuff. They didn't show too much, but they showed
Yeah.
enough for me to be interested in. And this is actually going to be a timed exclusive, which I thought it was weird because like this is like one of those games to me where when you enter like a direct, a lot of people forget about it. Like this is going to be like overshadowed by a lot of stuff. It's not going to be like high praise from a lot of people. But this one of my games to show.
One of your games at the show. I believe I could
One
hear
of my
you
games.
clapping when this was announced, when they showed this off.
I was probably like the only person clapping. No.
Yeah, I heard you. It was like in a quiet room, just to yourself clapping. But yeah, Ring Code is coming out. Looking forward to that. Then they showed Resident Evil Village and 2, 3, and 7 coming to cloud. Boom, we got it again. Sort of, not really, but
Sort of, yeah.
yeah. So
Because
they
you,
didn't.
you did say these games to be cloud, just
Yeah,
not on this show.
right.
But we did talk about this before.
Um, it's coming out October 28th. You can get a demo now. You can try the demo, and then that way you can pre-order it if you play the demo. It is a 5-minute demo. You can play it 3 times. The demo just has you walking through a dark room. There's no combat, like unless you like move quickly through it, because you only have 5 minutes. So don't read anything. Just quickly move through it, and then as you're going, like right as I was walking to an enemy, they were like, your 5 minutes are up. Yeah. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and Resident Evil 7 are all coming out later this year. The cloud versions, obviously. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I think they're gonna go as well as the other cloud versions of the games.
That's true.
I'll give them credit. They did bring the games over, so these are like mainline Resident Evil games. That's nice. It's just this is gonna be very limited in who can actually play these types of things. Because I did have a friend who actually played the Village Cloud demo. Because
Yeah.
he's like a speedrunner for these types of Resident Evil games, so he was actually able to fight, and he wasn't impressed with his latency for the actual
Analog sticks
action.
and yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't impressed with that. He liked how it looked and the sound. He said that was really nice. Just actually playing, like he's a little bit more picky over that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But so again, you have to try out this cloud stuff. Don't read. That's like the only time you're gonna hear me say don't read something in games. Just
Yeah,
go
just
forward.
don't stop and read. Yeah, just keep going. I
Yeah.
found the same thing where the analog sticks, there was kind of like a I don't know. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is probably Guardians of the Galaxy or Hitman were probably the two that I enjoyed the most in playing the cloud versions. But yeah, I also played this like this was probably a demo that got downloaded quickly after the direct. So it could be because it was crowded, like a crowded time where a lot of people are trying it. Because the more people that play the game, the worse it performs.
Yeah,
Um,
because it only has a limit of like who can actually play, and then you have to actually think of how far away are you from these so-called data systems, whatever
yeah,
that's actually producing the game.
exactly. Then they got Sifu that's coming to the Nintendo Switch.
You did say that many times. Again, just not this
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I was giving you a little crap for this one because I thought it was gonna be a lot longer. We have to wait for this.
So did I.
But so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's here now. So
It's
I
here.
mean, well, it's
Well,
not here yet. It's
November. Yeah.
November 8th.
Yeah. It'll be here on
So
November 8th. It looks. Oof. We'll see
if you
how.
go on the eShop,
Yeah.
there's only pictures. There's no video. Usually, that's not a good sign. So
Right.
we'll see
Yeah.
how it ships out.
And then then they jumped to Crisis Core Final Fantasy Reunion, and for a second there I was like, oh, is this the remake, the cloud version? And of course not. No, Sony's not
Well,
giving
no.
that up. But yeah, they gave this a date in December, so now it's got a date. It's coming out. And yeah, it is.
I mean, it looks nice for what it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest Crisis Core fan.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll try it again, but I don't know.
Maybe we'll try Pikmin
Maybe.
again. Who knows? Nobody knows. Um,
I don't even know what Pikmin is. Just I know Pikmin exists, and Miyamoto
yeah.
made a shirt. That's all I know.
What else we got? We got Radiant. What is it?
Radiant
Silver
Silver
Gun.
Gun.
Yeah,
But we had that.
we had it in America, and then it got taken off the eShop, only in America. We don't know why, but it was out for a few hours. I almost got it, and I was like, yeah, well, I'll wait.
Missed out.
And then after that, apparently they're saying it's not out now. There's an issue with it, but they hope to get it back on. Endless Dungeon by Sega. The animation, like the walking animations, I really like. It it seems like you're walking through a dungeon area. It almost looks like a sort of like Diablo esque.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. I was getting that feeling.
Um, and then next up, Mel. They have Tales of Symphonia remastered. You were excited about this for a minute until you learned about what version it is.
Something. Yeah, and then I was not excited because Tales of Symphonia is one of my favorite GameCube games. It was, it was back in the day. This was like, okay, this is the JRPG game for this summer. Like that's what you get. This is the game you did. And I remember beating this the day before I started high school. And this was like one of the first games where I started to notice like plot lines and like,
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. So like I called everything. I was like, man, this is gonna happen. Oh, this
and
happened.
then it did.
And
Yeah,
even it did. It was exactly pinpointed. And then I recognized the main character. The main character is his name is Lloyd, but his
yeah.
voice is Teen Titans Robin. So he's like cursing in this game. At the time I'm like 13, so I'm just like laughing. I was like, it's Robin, Teen Titans. So Tales games are very like actiony kind of thing, and I did everything possible in this game. So, I wasn't expecting like a remaster anytime soon. I thought we would get maybe certain other types of Tales games that didn't hit the Nintendo systems because, it's weird because like this one, like back in the day was really popular, but then like after this one is just like the series just went to like Sony, minus like your spin off here and there and like Symphonia 2. But
Yeah,
this version is based off the PS2 remake, that kind of version.
yeah,
So that one's at 30 frames per second. So like it's coming out to everything pretty much now, but it's gonna be that. It's gonna be 30 frames per second. And I'm so used to playing at 60, it would be a downgrade for me, even though they cleaned it up a bit.
yeah.
So I don't know if I'm gonna get this anymore.
It'd be odd that even like the Xbox Series X and PS5 versions are 30 frames a second. It's one of those things, sort of like Bloodborne. They can't. Um, Something about the frame rate is connected to the game, and if you speed it up, everything speeds up. It doesn't look right, and so I believe that's the problem with the PS3 version. We'll see if PS2 version. We'll see if they figure out something, or if they'll be like, "This is just it. You wanted
I
Tales
think
of
this is
Symphonia,
just
you're
it.
gonna get it." Um,
I think this is just it.
and then they released a couple of short videos, right? Final Fantasy, or no, Life is Strange, the collection. Um, Romancing Saga, that's coming out, I think, in December, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Um, the Lego Brick Tales. They got a couple of random games. Um, and um, the Disney Speedstorm, they showed that off again. That was a part of the um, Microsoft thing.
Disney.
Yeah,
Oh
or
yeah,
not
yeah,
Microsoft
that's
thing.
it actually.
Yeah, well, it
Yeah,
was,
yeah, it's
yeah,
the
but
Disney
then
thing.
the Disney
Oh,
thing.
oh, speaking of Disney thing, we did get a quick little announcement for that, and which is funny because me and you both say, "Oh, we're not getting anything for
Oh
Switch
yeah,
from that Disney conference,"
uh huh.
and then we got that that
Mickey Mouse game.
Mickey Mouse game. It's kind of like in the style of like the new Mickey Mouse cartoon. Not exactly, but like very similar style to that. You can play as Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. It looks kind of like a Rayman Legend ish type of game,
Yeah,
so that comes out like next year.
Yeah,
That's already on like a store page on the system. They want you to wish list that and everything, making a big deal about it.
I think
But
it
over
says.
here, oh, we're not getting nothing.
I think yeah, and Gargoyles remastered.
Oh, yeah, that's getting remastered
So
too.
that'll be there too. But then that game, the Mickey Mouse game, is made by what is it, Lala Studios, and that's like the people that worked on Battletoads for the Xbox. So
The newest
the
Battletoads.
newest Battletoads, yes. And while I was watching the video, I got Rayman, but I also got almost like Lost Viking vibes from it.
Mm,
So
okay.
who knows? But then yeah, then they also had this video here where they're like, oh, here's a couple of random things, and then out of nowhere, Kirby. Um, they did just like, hey, we're doing Return to Dreamland Deluxe, and it's just Return to Dreamland, but
You have a new mecha copy ability,
mm-hmm,
some new sub games, and everybody can play as Kobe because like Kobe is everybody's friend now.
yeah,
After this year, we had
everyone,
Forgotten Land and Dream Buffet. Dream Buffet is still doing pretty well in the eShop, which is surprising to myself. I thought it was gonna be there just like 1 or 2 weeks, but like it's still holding up in like the top 6 or 5. Not bad for a little
yeah.
eShop Kobe game.
I think it helps that it's Kirby and it's $15, so um, that
I
really
think they
helps it.
actually did price this right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think having the $15 versus the 20, like I originally thought it was gonna be, and you can actually play this online as well. That also helps too. But
Yeah,
out of
this is
all the games to get like a port, like I don't get this one. I
right.
kind of get it, but I don't get it. Because we
Um,
have Kirby's. He's getting up there again. He comes in waves. Back and forth. But this was like one of the later Wii releases, so I can see kind of why this one got chosen instead of like some of the 3DS games. But I kind of
yeah,
like some of the 3DS games more than this one. I still like this one.
right. Plus, this one is local only. February 24th coming out.
Yeah.
Local multiplayer only. I feel like we're in 2006. I don't understand what's going on.
I was hoping for the online. I was gonna get it if it had online. I
Yeah,
can't do it if it doesn't have
I feel
online.
like I might not even do this either. Let's be
I
honest, I
like
probably
it.
will, but
It's just we know. It's just how much you're gonna get invested
I'm not
into
going to
it
be
is.
happy about
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Eh,
And on February 24th, you gotta get Octopath 2. Octopath Travel 2.
oh yeah, that's
I
true.
might get Rise of 3 because that's a big day. You got 3 big
Yeah,
games. Well,
a lot of
big-ish
time
games.
consuming games too, like RPGs. Lots of time with that.
Oh, I don't know about this new Ryza game, but the other Ryza games are roughly like around 30 hours or so if you just kind of focus on the mainline story. Which I know sounds like a lot, but for like an RPG, that's actually pretty short. But, no way an Octopath Traveler 2 is 30 hours. No way.
Octopath
That's
Traveler
probably
2. Yeah, no.
yeah, there's no way. No. That's probably your biggest game of like of time you're gonna play for those days. That's a big day. You get 3 games. I guess you gotta pick and choose. I might go Ryza, maybe Octopath. Kirby's not on my list. You know,
Oh,
I'm
poor
happy for
Kirby.
the people. I'm happy for the people who can play this. Because again, this is one of the later release the
Yeah.
Wii, so
Hmm.
it might have got lost in the shuffle. But no online, I can't do it.
No, thank you. But in terms of what they ended up closing, imagine if they ended the show with that, the Dreamland
Because
Deluxe.
it honestly did feel like that was almost the closing.
Yeah.
But like,
He came back and he was like, "Thank you for watching." And then he's like, "Please enjoy this next thing. Will be the last thing we talk about." And that was Mel. What was it?
oh, it was Zelda.
Oh,
But it was the one I wanted. So I know that's kind of a double-edged sword for some people because people everybody kind of was expecting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports. We didn't see nothing about this. We were
nada.
so confident they were gonna appear, or we're gonna see what kind of updates, if they did any, if they were a combo. Nothing. We got absolutely nothing. And I was so concerned. I was like, man, we've been hearing rumors about these GameCube remasters. We've been hearing rumors about like Metroid Prime remastered. Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. I'm like, this is gonna take so much time. I know it's 40 minutes, but that's gonna take up so much time. I was getting worried as time went along, and we didn't see any of those. I was like, oh man, uh, like I hope Zelda's there at least. We gotta have something, at least a date, and we got a date, and we got a title. I don't know about you, but this title to me sounds fake as hell. Like this doesn't sound like legit title to me. But
It seems like a title we would get the title for it, and let's just say Tears of the Kingdom. It would be a title that someone would leak ahead of time and no one would believe them because it's just like, I don't know, generic, I guess.
I
And
also saw like an interesting. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say I don't understand what it is, like how that is going to. They were like, we don't want to give the title because it'll give away and give people
Too much.
ideas. Yeah, and
I
like
saw an interesting kind of comment about this. Is it Tears or Tails?
what
It's
tears?
like, because like, what if it's like a double on play kind of thing? Like, it's Tears of the Kingdom, but like the kingdom is also being torn apart. So like, you have the little bits and tails here and there, that kind of thing. So you know,
Tears or tears? Tears
yeah,
of the
Tears. You're
Kingdom.
going to Tears.
I'm going with
Both,
tears.
both sound wrong to me, so it doesn't matter. Like I'm still in my head. This is still Breath of the Wild 2 in my head. I haven't made the commitment to Tears of the Kingdom.
You haven't
It
done that
sounds
yet?
fake. I haven't done it yet.
Um,
Okay.
we'll get there
It
eventually. Because now instead of BOTW2, it'll just be TOTR, right? Or TOTK.
see, like I see people go TOK with like the Origami King, Paper Mario and the Origami King. So
Yeah.
maybe be TOTK, but that's just weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're just shorten it to Tears.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we saw like 10 seconds of this. I'm not the most impressed by that, but I did know, of course, we're gonna have a lot of people analyze this in detail because we did see some imagery. We saw him like on some kind of glider ship thing. That looked kind of cool.
Yeah, it seemed to catch him midair, like while he's jumping down.
Hmm.
A lot of verticality there. It shows a lot of verticality, a lot of floating islands that you could go to. um it'll be
And we
interesting.
got the fancy logo here. There's a lot of green. If you notice, like the Master Sword, it's kind of looking like it's like disintegrating a little bit with this like.
Yeah,
What it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like the Twilight Princess dimension portal openings kind of thing. Maybe that's some kind of connection. I don't know. I
yeah,
know people have been looking at the little mirror that they first shown off. It had like seven little orbs, circles.
yeah,
Maybe it's like seven dungeons. Maybe it's like seven different races. Maybe something's happening being torn apart of the kingdom. You saw like a Zelda like character looking like she's like pretty sad, like holding something, but you don't see like the other side of it. You know,
oof. Yeah,
so you have a lot of little bitty details here and there that you can piece together.
yeah.
It's just again, I'm just kind of disappointed that we didn't see more of it because it's been like over a year since we last saw this. I want to know more about this game. But this does seem like it may be a little bit more story focused, which is one of my problems with the first game. Because honestly, if you like watch Nintendo's like trailers and stuff, they kind of just showed like everything. So maybe they're trying to prevent that this time, and they're not showing us as much, so we can have a little bit more of that kept in lock. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. And when do we have to wait for this game to come out?
May 12th. May. May
May 12th, huh?
12th. Yeah.
May, right?
May.
I was the one that said May, and I got so much flank for saying May. It's
Well,
gonna be March.
Mel, it's gonna be May. It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be May.
May. Um, and
I didn't
yeah,
want it to be May, but I figured because we don't have a March game right now. We actually don't have March, so that's
we've got
a
what,
little
a
strange.
January game from we
We
got
got so
January of February, no
yeah,
March,
March.
but the January game is the end of January, which sometimes when they do the end of January, when they do the end of the month, that carries through and is the game for the whole rest of the month.
Yeah, that can also be said for Kirby then, because Kirby is the 24th. That's like the end of the month, you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, Fire Emblem's is the end. You know, it's the end of January, and then the next game's the end of February. So we could see another game the end of March, the third or fourth week of March.
It was just so strange to me how if they do have like a March game, like why was it not here? You know,
Yeah.
it seems like it should have been here, kind of thing. Because we got the May game of all things, but I feel like they had to tell us Zelda is coming because there's a lot of concern about Zelda. Because you know Zelda is like one of the most delayed projects of any kind of Zelda game. Like you should go into expecting like at least 2 delays for Zelda, honestly,
Right.
just to prep yourself. And then, of course, they got hit with COVID, so that threw off the plans. And you know, I'm sure they didn't want to go with May release. I didn't want a May release. I wanted them to be like, "No, Mel, you're wrong. This thing's like out like January like 12th. You know,
It'll
just
be
to
out
screw
any
you."
minute now. Yeah. No,
No, no, gotta wait.
it's out
Again,
January 1st.
this
Yeah.
is this is gonna be a lot of people's most anticipated game. Even with my complaints with the first one, this is still my most anticipated game. I just love Zelda.
So
You
you'll
know,
be
I
there
want more Zelda.
day
I'll
one.
be there. You know what? You know, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna download this. I'm not even gonna actually wait to get the physical. I'm just gonna download it.
Are you going to download it before launch, or are you going to wait and download it sometime
Download
during
it
the
before
day?
launch.
Sometime
Download it before.
during the
No,
day
no.
of the
It's gonna
release.
be like Thursday morning. Download it. It's gonna be like 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm gonna download it. It's gonna be ready by the time it comes out at 11
Your
p.m. my
internet's going to
time.
go out at 7. It's not going to finish. And you're going to be like, what? What happened?
And then I would call you and I would be like, what kind of voodoo hacks did you put on me?
And I'll be like,
I know, because you did.
yeah. And I'll back away like, what's his name? Levitz, John Levitz, in that one scene in The Wedding Singer, where he's like, "You're falling apart, and I will see all the profits."
Why is that a reference?
I don't know. That's what the reference I got. That's what first thing that popped in my head. That's
Oh my god, you are him.
yeah,
You
yeah.
exactly him.
I like to come up with good, timely references, and you know, making a
That's
reference
good.
to The Wedding Singer is
That's
very
funny.
timely. Yeah.
I
So
do like that movie though, so
yeah. So that was the Nintendo Direct, and yeah, we're already going for like an hour and a half. So I think we'll just anything we've been playing, we can hold off that for next week because
next
it's
week.
only been a few days anyway. But yeah. So
But
overall, I like the Direct. And you
were
said
you disappointed at anything that didn't
mm,
show up?
yeah, the Game Boy. I want Game Boy. I want NSO Game Boy, and I want if they can make it right, they can. You know what? We can squash our beef, Nintendo, if they release the NSO Game Boy either before or on the release of Pokemon Stadium.
Okay, so that's what you're going for. Because I know I saw a lot of people online being kind of disappointed with this particular direct. And it was mostly for reasons of things that are not even announced. So a little crazy on my viewing, I guess. But
Mm.
I'm also not like the target audience for that kind of thing because a lot of people wanted this Metroid Prime remake and these
Oh
Zelda
yeah.
ports, and you know me, I've been so disinterested in this, and I just wanted them to come out so they can say it, so I don't have to hear more about this. But
Yeah.
no, they're keeping on with this just to mess with me. I'm so I think that I'm convinced it's just to keep me in pain.
Here's what
I don't know why.
here's what I'll say about Metroid. I feel like if they were going to do the Metroid game, right? Let's say they don't want to talk about Metroid, okay? They're like, you know what? We don't want to talk about Metroid 4, Prime 4. So we don't want to talk about it. So if we do announce Metroid remake, we'll just announce it in a random tweet in 2 weeks from now. I could see them doing that, and then they wouldn't have to discuss Metroid Prime
Metroid
4.
Prime 4. Okay, so you're going with that.
I'm going with
So
that. If it is coming
I'm
out
going
this
with
year, it'll be announced before the end of September.
okay. I'm going. Maybe this thing doesn't exist at this point.
Mel.
I am so burnt by this. I'm not even wanting it. I'm just tired of hearing it. It's just how long are they gonna make us wait for this if this actually exists? Because they're gonna want some time before four comes out. How long is four off then if we don't even have one still?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
do they want to put
true.
them that close together, or are we getting a nice, reasonable distance?
Great
Because, like,
question, Mel. All great
you know,
questions.
I want to know if it's next year for four, or if we actually wait until 24.
That's
That's
wild.
insane.
Yeah.
That's
When
insane
they
to think
announced
about.
it in 2017 or 2016?
It was like after like announcing like Yoshi's Crafted World. So whenever that happened, man.
Yeah, I think it might be 2018 or the
Oh
end
my
of
god.
September 2019 or
It was
2017. I mean,
it was like 2017 because like we haven't seen
yeah.
anything. I'm
No,
not
I
even
mean they
wanting
did
this game.
announce what was it like 2 or 3 years ago now, where they announced they're rebooting it.
It's almost 3 years at this point. I think it's at least been two. It might actually be three. The whole COVID
Yeah.
messed up my line. It's just I hope it's coming out soon, but I don't think it is. I think it's 24, honestly. And it makes me question some things of like how long are we with the Switch?
How
Because
much
it's getting up
longer?
there.
Yeah, we're gonna be. Oof. I mean, that could be a launch title for the next
It
Switch. At this
can be.
point, I could see them
Because
doing a Wii U thing where they just release it on both.
yeah, because
Everyone thought this
yeah.
was gonna be it. No, it's gonna be that, and
Huh.
it's gonna be holiday 2024
Mm.
or
So
March 24. I feel like they want to release their system before the end of March. So if it's not in 2023, it'll be March 2024. They want to release it before the end of March so that they can have really good numbers for right before the end of the quarter, and then have big numbers again when they release more units in October, November period.
yeah. But see, that's my line of thought too. It's weird how we don't have anything from that March period. It would be out before Zelda, um, if it does happen. But like, I'm losing faith, man. I'm just losing faith.
Uh, well, I don't
Losing
blame
it.
you. You know, well, one of these days we'll get it. I mean, we still need to get Tears of the Kingdom or
I
Tears
know.
of the Kingdom, whatever you want to call
It's probably twos because like I don't think they actually set the name. I think they just showed it. It's kind of like that read and read stuff. You have to read like the
it. Yeah,
context of the sentence. To be
that's true.
making sure
Zelda
you're
and
reading
Link,
it.
those sort of things.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day being at playgrounds, being like, "Oh yeah, Link is cool. Who's that? No, you play as Zelda. You don't play as Link." Um, Mel, where can people find you?
Gonna be at the good old Twitter at Mel Needs a Name.
Mel
But
needs
yeah.
a tear. Mel needs a tear.
Mel needs some tears.
Mel needs some tears, and Mel needs a tear, or mean have two totally different meanings. I'll tell you what. But yeah, Mel needs a name on Twitter. You can find me at Super Nintendo on pretty much everything, and we will be back next week with TGS news. Turnip Boys are out here trying to rob banks. Who knows what else happens? We don't know, but you maybe know listening now. But yeah, we will be back next week, and thanks for listening. Toodaloo.